Most people don't lose because someone beat them. They lose because someone baited them. Maybe it's a coworker who undermines you every chance they get, a family member who can't celebrate anything you do, or just someone who has it out for you and you have no idea why. So let me ask you, what do? Do you confront them, ignore them, or do you just let it eat at you? If any of this sounds familiar, stay right here. I'm Diana, welcome to Wise Sage Advice. Today, I'm going to show you how to take their hate and use it as fuel for your growth. But before we get there, I need to show you what you're actually dealing with first, because if you misread the battle, you'll keep fighting it the wrong way. And I want to go deeper than surface level with you, because not every conflict is what it looks like. Some people are broken in ways that they haven't dealt with, and others are carrying something much darker than that. In the Bible, Ephesians 6:12 says it plainly. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. That means some of what's coming at you isn't purely human. And that changes everything. Because the real danger isn't what someone can do to you, it's what their behavior can trigger in you. One thing said in anger, one situation escalated, and your life can change in ways that you never intended. That's the trap. I've been there. Toxic family, fake friends, situations where I genuinely felt unsafe. And what I learned is that pretending to be fearless doesn't protect you, but getting closer to God, learning scripture, and developing real discernment does. I don't walk around thinking that I'm untouchable, but I don't live in fear either. If someone has been disturbing your peace, this is for you. The goal is simple: don't take the bait. One verse that completely changed the way I see conflict was Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." When that verse finally clicked for me, I mean really clicked, I couldn't unsee it. It shifted something in me, a fear of the Lord that I hadn't experienced before. Not like fear, like panic, more like a genuine awareness of who He is. A reverence that I couldn't shake. And with that reverence came discernment, what I like to call spiritual sight. There are some people that are operating from bitterness, envy, and deep unresolved wounds. And then there are others that goes beyond human behavior entirely. Demonic influence and possession are real. And if you've ever been with someone and something just didn't sit right with you, trust that feeling. That's discernment. And something I would just like to note, the Bible doesn't treat any of this stuff as poetry or superstition, and neither should we. That's why Jesus says in Matthew 10:16, "Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." In other words, don't be naive, but don't become wicked either trying to protect yourself. That starts with knowing who you are. And honestly, this was one of my biggest struggles. This is something that I don't talk about often, but for a long time, my self-esteem was so low, I honestly thought something was wrong with me, like I had a disease. Like everywhere I went, I was something to be avoided. And that kind of belief, that's exactly what toxic people count on. Because when you're busy questioning yourself, you're not paying attention to them. Learning to trust yourself is part of the battle. And it starts with recognizing what God is already showing you. When your spirit flags something that your mind can't explain, that's not anxiety. That's God giving you information. Don't talk yourself out of it. But discernment alone isn't enough. You have to be covered. Prayer is what protects you. Before you enter a room, before a difficult conversation, before you even respond, pray. That's not a suggestion. That's how you stay ahead of it. Because one of the enemy's oldest tricks isn't just to attack you. It's to make you question whether you're being attacked. So start noticing the patterns. One bad day is one thing. Repeated behavior is character. Just get in the habit of covering yourself and your family. That's not weakness. That's how you fight back. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, so stop thinking like we do. Here's what nobody tells you when it comes to difficult people. The minute you match their energy, you've already lost. When someone comes at you sideways, everything in you wants to respond. It feels natural. Like if you don't clap back, you're weak. Like your silence means you're scared. but that kind of thinking will get you in trouble every single time. Reacting emotionally gives people power they haven't earned. The second you raise your voice, slam the door, or say something you can't take back, congrats, you've handed them the keys. Now the situation is no longer how they responded, it's about what you did. And trust me, they will use that against you. Every time you choose not to take the bait, you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting your future. One of the most defining moments happened with my older brother. We got into it over something he completely fabricated, and it happened right in front of my mother. He took it further than he had ever had and knocked me out cold. When I came back to consciousness, something shifted in me. I got up, didn't yell, didn't swing back. I calmly walked to my room and called the police. That was the last time I was under my mother's roof and the last time my brother laid hands on me. Silence was my weapon that day. That wasn't weakness, that was strategy. There's a difference. A lot of people confuse restraint with passivity, but staying calm in chaos is one of the hardest things that you can do. It requires you to override every instinct that you have. And when you can do that, nobody can control you. The last thing I'll say on this is simple. Don't let broken people teach you how to be broken. When you react out of hurt, ego, and the need to win, you risk becoming the very thing that you're fighting against. Hold the line, stay calm. Let your composure be the loudest thing in the room. Staying calm is one thing, but what do you do with everything you're feeling underneath? That's where God comes in. Before you confront anyone, before you plot, before you even open your mouth, take it to God first. Don't just say words, mean them. I'm talking about a genuine, intentional conversation with God before you step into anything. Most people pray for justice and vindication, but what you really need to pray for is clarity and wisdom. And then be still long enough to actually hear your answer. Because the enemy doesn't just want conflict with you. He wants destruction of your peace, your clarity, your self-control, and your future. And one of the easiest ways that he can get all that from you is to have you react before you've consulted God. Emotions move fast. Wisdom takes a moment. Story time. Story time. Let me tell you about a situation that could have ended badly. A few years ago, I had been let go from my corporate job. I couldn't keep my apartment, so I ended up moving in with a friend who had an extra room. A few weeks in, and she became someone I didn't recognize. One afternoon, without warning, she told me she wanted me gone. But the way she looked stopped me cold. Her eyes were dark, her face unrecognizable. Whatever was looking back at me wasn't my friend. It was like something had taken up residence behind her eyes. That wasn't the person I knew. Something in my spirit went on alert immediately. And right there and then, I prayed. Not casually, intentionally. I prayed like my life depended on it because what I was sensing wasn't just conflict, it was dangerous. She eventually became hostile. Threatened me with a freaking baseball bat and came at me. And then something shifted. I don't know how to explain it, but she stopped just like that. Like her attention had been pulled somewhere else entirely. So I ended up calling the police, gathering my stuff, and walking out. That situation could have turned violent. It could have ended very differently, but it didn't. Not because I was strong enough, but because God was in it. Some battles are won before they're ever seen in public. Get God involved first, then move. Once God gives you clarity, the first thing he shows you is who deserves to be in your space, because not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And the sooner that you can accept that, the better life gets. There's a version of loyalty that we've all been sold that isn't loyalty at all. It's obligation dressed up in family language. Just because someone shares your same blood doesn't mean they get unlimited access to your life. A title doesn't excuse behavior. But that's your mother. That's family. And none of those sentences are reasons to keep absorbing damage. Love can exist at a distance. And sometimes that distance is the most protective decision you'll ever make. Stop over-explaining yourself. You don't owe anyone a dissertation on why you need peace. This doesn't work for me is a complete sentence. The minute you start defending your boundaries to someone who was never going to respect them anyway, that fight was never yours to win. Access to you is a privilege, not a right. Your time, your energy, your space, your peace. None of it is owed to anyone by default. The people in your life should have to earn and maintain that access by how they treat you. Every boundary that you hold is energy being redirected into yourself, back into your growth. Protect your space, protect your peace, and protect yourself in every sense of the word. Let's start with the practical because protecting yourself isn't just spiritual. If you've been in situations where someone was physically aggressive towards you, take that seriously. Look into self-defense training, not out of fear, out of responsibility. There's something that shifts when you know you're capable of protecting yourself. A quiet confidence that changes the way you carry yourself and the way you move through the world. You stop shrinking and freezing up, and people can feel that shift before you say a word. Take care of your body too. When you're run down, you're reactive. When you're rested and strong, you make better decisions. You can't pour from an empty cup and you can't fight from a broken one either. Remember that. Now, here's the part most people skip. You can survive what happened and still quietly have it destroy you from the inside. Bitterness does that. It doesn't have to announce itself. It just slowly makes you guarded, small, and hard to reach. And the people that hurt you, they don't even have to be in your life anymore to still be winning. That's why turning their hate into fuel isn't just a mindset shift, it's a decision, a daily one. You have to look at everything that was done to you, the rejection, the betrayal, the manipulation, and the hostility, and consciously decide that you're going to have it work for you instead of against you. That's not a motivational poster, that's a choice, and it's one of the hardest ones you'll ever make. So let me break down exactly what that looks like. Every person who betrayed you taught you something about discernment, about who to trust, how fast to trust them, and what red flags you'll never ignore again. That's not a wound. That is wisdom that you paid for. Every rejection that stung in the moment was actually raising your standards, showing you what you won't accept, redirecting you towards something better even when it didn't feel that way. Every hard season that should have broken you and didn't, that built a kind of faith that comfortable people don't have access to. Take note of that. What season almost broke you? Because that's exactly where your fuel is. The people who came at you with hostility, who tried to dim your light and slow your progress down, they had no idea they were actually sharpening you. Adversity has a way of doing that. It strips away everything that was never supposed to be there in the first place. The wrong relationships, the wrong environments, the wrong versions of yourself. And what's left after all that? Someone clearer, someone stronger, someone who knows exactly who they are because they had a fight to figure it out. That's you. That's who you're becoming. Your growth is your response. Not a clapback, not revenge, not proving something to someone who was never going to celebrate you anyway. The best thing that you can do with hate that's directed at you is to quietly outgrow it. Build something, heal, become someone they never saw coming. What was meant to destroy you became the very thing that built you. That's not luck, that's God, and that's you choosing not to quit. If you've made it this far, I want you to know something. You're not weak for enduring what you have. You're not broken because someone came at you with hate, manipulation, or hostility. And you're not defined by how someone has treated you. Fear is not your inheritance, and I need you to hold on to that. Whatever you faced, whatever is still unresolved, whatever keeps you up at night, that is not the final word over your life. God is not asking you to walk through this life naive. He's asking you to walk through it awake, eyes open, spirit grounded, discernment sharp. Listen, you don't have to absorb everything that was thrown at you. You're allowed to step back, protect your peace, and quietly outgrow everything that was never meant to come with you. Do it without guilt. Do it with grace, with wisdom, and with God leading the way. Stay grounded, stay wise, and no matter what happens, don't let anyone pull you so out of yourself that you forget who you are and whose you are. Because the greatest victory isn't proving them wrong. It's refusing to let them change who you are. That's the win. Protect it. If this hit close to home, share it with someone who needs it, because somewhere right now, someone's being tested and they need to know that they're going to make it. And subscribe, because this community is built for people who choose growth over bitterness. All right, guys, that's all for today. Take care, stay wise out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.